So, hey guys, it is February 29th. That only comes along once every 4 years, eh? So I guess it's leap year, so February 29th, 2016, and apparently it is a Monday. And I know it's a Monday because I actually was doing some work today. It's like, what day is it? Well, yesterday I didn't do work, and today I did do work. Therefore, it must mean it's a Monday. So today we're going to do yet another cross-country trudge. So in the past, we've been going through the streets because it's been pretty bad weather. But last couple of days it's been nice around here. It's like, I don't know, like 55 degrees right now. So I still need a hat, but it's nice enough weather that I can go and try to trudge through the countryside, because it is much more enjoyable to walk through the country, and it gives you guys a little more interesting things to look at, I suppose. So as far as the whole weight loss and the diet thing goes, got the weigh in this morning is like 202 something. So went up a little bit, but not really any kind of big deal. Still 5 or so pounds less than when I started. So the diet thing is going well. Very happy. Woke up at 5 o'clock this morning. Got my wife out of bed and we went over to the gym. So at like 5:30 or whatever, we were over there, worked out for half an hour. And the good part is, second weekend of working out, and I don't feel so bad right now, right? Again, it's one of those things where you get used to stuff. Like, I worked out hard this morning, but I don't feel horrible now. So last week, right? Last week, worked out a couple of times. First time I had, done the weights or any of that for a year or so. And so I felt like crap. I felt really sore. It hurt a lot afterwards, like a couple of days afterwards, type of deal. But what's nice is this morning, going in there, worked out, worked to the point of failure, fatigue, hurt this morning, admittedly, but even now I feel good. I feel like I could go into a sparring match and actually feel pretty decent. Like last week, man, after I did those weights, last fucking thing I would want to do is go into a match. And now, I'm not saying I do great, but I feel comfortable with it. At least I don't go in feeling hurt already. So that's a good thing. Again, if you guys are going to be going out there dieting or exercising or whatever, just do realize it really does, in fact, get easier. First week is so brutal. And that's the problem that I see. Again, talked about before, so many people push too hard in the first week. And even if you don't push hard, you're still gonna hurt. So they push too hard in the first week. They then wear everything out. They get in so much pain, and then they just don't go on, right? And so again, the thing to think about is, instead of trying to work out 5 times your first week, or really, prove how much you can bench press your first week, just go in there, do something nice, get a little sweat on, feel a little sore, and the second week, push a little harder. And the third week, push a little harder. I talked about that before. Flat road +1. Flat road +2. Flat road, fuck it, -4, right? But keep going. So I feel good that way. We're gonna be going to do spinning class tomorrow, because I do feel good. I do honestly feel good. So we're gonna wake up 5:30 in the morning to spinning class. And again, you can't laugh at spinning class until you do spinning class. That's one of the things, like with any of these workout routines. Hey, when you can do it for an hour and you come out feeling good, you can laugh at whatever the hell you want. But if you laugh at something and you can't even keep up for 5 minutes, shut up. Shut up, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's go do the spinning class. And so my idea with the whole workout routine now, since my wife really likes working, likes working out. So what I figure is I'll do Monday, Wednesday, Friday will be strength training routine. And then Tuesday, Thursday, and generally Saturday will be cardio, and we'll go from there. And then once I get down to whatever shape that I want to be in, then I'll moderate it a little bit. I want to do it every day now, and then my thought going into the future is more like, somewhere between half an hour to an hour every day, until I'm at least closer to the shape that I want to be in. And then going into the future, maybe hour and a half, 3 times a week or something like that. But we'll see. And again, if she's going in anyway, it's a little time to be with your spouse, right? Again, you get to shoot a couple of birds with one stone. You don't feel like you're with your spouse enough, go to the gym. I have no idea why my spouse is so happy going to the gym with me, because it's not actually like we're together a lot when we're at the gym, but she feels like we are at some kind of weird ass together time. And so, hey, as I say, when you are a real adult and you are actually married, if there are little things you can do to keep your wife happy, do them. Do them. But anyways, I was going to talk today a little bit about the whole YouTube Where's the Fair Use campaign and the fact that I'm giving the hell up on it. I am walking away, and a lesson for you guys in life. Know when to walk the hell away sometimes. So basically, I don't know if you know about where's the fair use, but there's a hashtag going around on YouTube right now called hashtag WTFU. And it was basically more or less, as far as I can tell, started by this guy Nostalgia Critic over at Channel Awesome because he was getting hit with nefarious copyright claims, basically false copyright strikes. And then a lot of other people were getting hit by false copyright strikes. So the issue is, if you're a YouTube content creator, is YouTube is scared to death of getting sued again by a company like Viacom, any large company that can go after them. So YouTube, because for copyright infringement. So YouTube hides behind what is called the DMCA. Basically, every large internet company hides behind the DMCA. It's a little more relevant for YouTube, though. So the DMCA is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which basically stipulates that platforms cannot be sued for copyright infringement for the content that users upload, as long as they follow a few policies. So basically the concern was, again, back in the day, you don't really think about it, but you think about back to 2000. And back then, media companies actually paid and created and owned, essentially, the content that they were presenting. So any content that was going up on the media company had a responsibility for. And so it was really easy to sue media companies because the media company decided to put something on the air or in the print. And therefore it was, okay, look, your company made a decision to do this thing that violated my rights, therefore I get to sue you. Pretty cut and dry right there. Well, the thing is, coming in the modern world of whole social media, now we have user-generated content. So much of the content, or basically all the content that's put up on these platforms, was not vetted, was not created, was not owned, was not licensed by the platforms. It's all created by the users. So the problem in this world then is, who do you hold accountable? And so the idea with the DMCA is, it didn't really seem right to hold the platforms completely accountable for what the users put up. On the other hand, the platforms did have some kind of responsibility. So if the platform follows certain sets of rules, then basically they get out of liability. This is really important for a company like YouTube, because YouTube gets, millions of videos uploaded like every single day, or lots of videos uploaded every single day. And so they really don't want to get sued. And so basically they implemented this copyright strike process that is really flawed to hell and back. It's really flawed, and the copyright strike process is really flawed. But the thing is, it keeps YouTube as a company safe from lawsuits, or relatively safe from lawsuits. The problem is the penalties against content creators are rather draconian if they get these strikes. They can lose their monetization rights if videos get certain strikes from people who say they own content that it's in the video. The person who says they get that their content is in the video can actually take ad revenue until the copyright strike is settled. So let's say you created a video, and then Joe Nobody says that their song is somehow in your video, even when it's not. Joe Nobody can put a copyright complaint against your video, actually claim the income off of your video, and they get the income until the copyright issue is resolved. So even if it goes back into your favor, so you did a video, somebody else nefariously put a claim on your video, You win that claim. The thing is, for the month that it took for that claim action to happen, all that money went to the other person. And when the month is over, you don't get any of that money back. So especially if you're a big YouTube content creator, I mean, that might be, anywhere between, $30 to $5,000 or $6,000 realistically. I mean, some of my videos make some money, you know what I'm saying? So there's a whole bunch of problems with this whole DMCA thing, and so there's this whole thing with where's the fair use, because YouTube content creators are up in arms because YouTube's policies as far as copyright strikes and all that are draconian and they're stupid and garbage, blah, blah, blah. So I did a video last week basically saying that I do not support WTFU, where's the fair use. And the thing is, when I did that video, I actually meant to be speaking to you guys. One of the things, too, to remember whenever you're in the internet world is it's very hard to communicate to your own people sometimes, right? So my goal was to communicate with my subscribers on the main Eli the Computer Guy channel. So a lot of people had asked what was my opinion of WTFU. So on the main channel, I basically just put this video of I do not support WTFU, and went through all of the issues with copyright, because there's issues with copyright from a national level, there's issues with copyright from a terms of service level, there's issues of copyright from just what people expectation level, and there's just this whole mess of things. So I did a 44-minute video, like all my videos are long, basically just putting it up there, just saying this is how I feel. Again, I say, everybody do what the hell you want to do, this is how I feel, and basically what I ended it with is what I see is one of the biggest problems with YouTube and this whole where's the fair use movement is just frankly that too many people use other people's content. I mean, it is just so completely normal for these content creators to use other people's intellectual property and then claim it as fair use. It is fair use. And so one of my arguments in the video is getting into fair use. If you really want to argue fair use legally, the problem is in the United States is there is no hard-coded definition of what fair use is. It's not like if you use 1,000 words, that is fair use, and if you use 1,001 words, it's against the law. Or if you use 30 seconds of video, it is fair use. And if you use 31 seconds, you can get your ass suit off. There's nothing like that. I mean, like literally, like you go to the copyright office and you read all the legal stuff and it's all like literally all the rules come down to how the court determines, right? When you take it to court, the court will determine who is right based on X, Y, or Z. And so again, for me, talking to my viewer base about business and making money, and as I say, what you're going to pay the baby formula with, I don't want to be in any kind of business where basically when you look up the rule, it says whatever the court determines. That just seems like a really bad idea. And as I always argue in business, you want everybody to know what the playing field is. You want everybody to know what the rules are. Nothing should be left up to an interpretation, right? If you have a contract, you should be able to essentially give that contract to a 10-year-old, and the 10-year-old understands what's going on, more or less, right? And so if you have contracts or if you have business agreements where two reasonable, rational, educated, smart people can look at the exact same words, they can look at the exact same situation and come up with two entirely different conclusions, especially when money is on the line, balls to that. That is just stupid. Just stay the hell away from it. Do not get into legal contracts or any of that where it's open to interpretation. Because if it's open to interpretation, what that means is everybody will interpret it in their own way, and they will expect the rest of the world to interpret it in the way that they interpret it. And yeah, I think we all know how that story ends, right? And so basically in that long 44-minute video, the big thing that I said to people was just stay away from all this copyright issue. Again, the biggest problem that I see in the YouTube world, especially with copyright, is that so much of YouTube content is based on other people's intellectual property. If it's not out and out piracy, if it's not out and out just pure copyright infringement, again, it's just so much of other people's intellectual property, whether it's movie reviews, whether it's video games, whether it's these reaction channels. just all of this stuff. And again, reaction channels, oh my golly, I don't know what the hell's going on with reaction channels. That crap's like multiplying like mice. Like even channels that didn't used to do reaction, like literally, like that never did a reaction video, are now like all reaction videos. And so what I was saying is, like, you know, once you get into this whole thing with intellectual property, you run into a big mess and you don't know what's going to happen. And one of the examples that I gave is Grade A Under A is a content creator that I like. A little controversial, but I like him. He has his weird stick figure things. And he got into a whole pissing contest with a reaction channel, Tyrone Magnus. And Grade A's complaint was that Tyrone Magnus was using the entirety of Grade A's video to react to. And then Tyrone Magnus's comeback was, a lot of other people like it, why are you complaining, kind of deal. And so that was one of the other examples that I gave in this, where we're running into this issue where YouTube channels now are so popular and worth so much money that YouTube content creators are starting to fight for their own intellectual property in the way that Hollywood's used to. Again, if you look at things like the Fine Brothers, whether or not you agree with the Fine Brothers in particular is kind of neither here nor there, but what they try to do, where they try to trademark React and then come up with their own multi-channel network as a business, basically as a licensing scheme, I mean, that's on the horizon, right? They've got a company with 44 people. They're trying to figure out how to grow. And so now they are trying to monetize the intellectual property that they've created. Again, grade A Under A, making money. He's got like 1.2 million subscribers now, really growing, making sure that he protects his intellectual property. So the issue is again, a lot of people, you know, think in the past, well, you know, I'll stay away from the intellectual property of big companies, Hollywood and, you know, record station or not records anymore, but, you know, iTunes-ish type stuff. I'll stay away from that. But like YouTube content creators or these, you know, social media content creators, I should be able to use their popular content with no problem. Well, the issue is again, time moves on. Now that social media content is becoming more and more valuable. Because it's becoming more and more valuable, those people are earning more money. When people earn more money, they all of a sudden can start paying lawyers. And then the lawyers come out and everything goes to hell. So in my video, basically what I said was just to stay the hell away from intellectual property. Again, if you're going to be creating videos on YouTube, basically, and this is what I argued in the video, is just to stay the hell away from the line of fair use. Wherever you believe that the line of fair use is, just stay a mile away from it, right? You know, because that's the thing, like in all my, like even my educational videos, yes, I talk about Microsoft and Windows and all that, but you know, you show things to the minimum extent possible. You understand that you're given a benefit by being able to fairly use content. And so if you get a benefit of something, then you use it minuscule. So basically that was the thing. So I said this whole where's the fair use thing, I argued that I don't support it because I think it's coming at things ass backwards. The biggest problem that I see on YouTube, frankly, is that people use too much content that a lot of it, I would argue, violates fair use anyway. And so for my viewer base, if you're trying to buy baby formula from creating a YouTube channel, my suggestion is to stay the hell away from it. You know, as much intellectual property of other people as possible. And if you are going to use content from them, just, again, stay a mile away from it, right? That was my advice. And so that went up. And again, I actually tried to make it not great for SEO. I only use the words I do not support. Hashtag WFTU. I didn't put anything else in there. I didn't put words copyright. I didn't put the words DMCA. I didn't put words YouTube. I didn't put nostalgia critic. I didn't put anything else. The only thing that would ping, as far as SEO is concerned, is just hashtag WTFU. And the only reason I put that in there as well, if my viewers are trying to figure out what the hell I'm talking about in the video, they need to have some idea. I can't just leave like a blank thing. So I put that there. And so that went up, and you know, I don't know, for the first couple of days, it got very mixed reaction. Probably one of the most negative reactions I've gotten in any of my videos. It was like 1,000 likes, 1,000 likes, and 700 dislikes. So a lot. I mean, people had a lot of opinions on it, still sided with me a bit, and it was all kind of a very fair discussion, reasonably. Even the people that disagreed with me, they fairly disagreed with me. People that agreed with me, a lot of them barely agreed with me. You know, it's that nice thing, you know? Again, you put content out there, you get ideas out there. That's the whole thing about putting ideas out there. It's not about people agreeing or disagreeing with you. It's about having conversation. And then holy hell, right? Holy hell. Over the weekend, this channel, Drunken Peasants, actually did a reaction video to me, where essentially the entire reaction was watching 4 minutes of my video and calling me a fart bubble from the Labyrinth movie. And all of a sudden, all of these people from their channel came to my channel and that video and just started beating the hell out of my WTFU. So it went from like 700 dislikes to now it's like 1,500 dislikes, and just all kinds of meanness and snark and everything else. Now, one of the curious parts in this is Grade A actually, after I did the hashtag WTFU video, emailed me specifically to ask me a few questions, because he actually respected my opinion. Didn't necessarily agree with my opinion, but he's like, wow, you actually argue something other than they're wrong. And so he's trying to figure out ways to make YouTube better. And so I was like, well, you know, he said, you know, he was going to be meeting with these YouTube people. He's talked about that, so I think I can say that. He was going to be meeting with these YouTube people, and he's like, if you have any advice, if you have any thoughts, you know, I'd be happy to hear them. And so the next day what I did is I created another video, you know, a hashtag make YouTube great again, which is his hashtag, and then campaign advice for Grade A. And in that, it was an hour and 44-minute long video about all the different issues that I saw with YouTube. I talked about everything from, oh, we need a real conference, there is no real YouTube conference, to we need more personal interaction, to just simply like there needs to be, what's it called? Basically where punishments go down over time. So a video that gets flagged now should have less punishments if it's 2 years old versus if it's 1 month old, type of deal. So I went through an hour for. And so after that, I was thinking, hey, this might be good. So Grade A actually likes my opinion, and he's huge. Never a bad thing to suck up to somebody who's huge and growing. That next video actually got a lot of views. So maybe I'll keep doing, like I'll do a whole series on hashtag make YouTube great again. And I was really thinking about that until I decided I was going to do the video today. I was doing the research for the video today, looking more into fair use, and realized what a fair use just cesspool YouTube is. Like, even the people that are complaining and whining and bitching and moaning about where's the fair use, if you actually look at their content from an analytic standard, they are stomping all over YouTube left and right. And the issue, though, is if I bring up the problems that I see, all of a sudden I'm going to start getting all these YouTubers screaming at me that that's not what they're talking about. What these people are talking about is something else, and I'm bringing up something else entirely, right? So it's things like, so they're talking about fair use, and they're talking about being able to use clips or whatever, all right? So under fair use, for education purposes, for commentary purposes, you're able to use clips of like video content. And this is a thing, basically like if you watch The Daily Show, and I'd argue The Daily Show is a good example of how fair use should be, right? They use clips from all kinds of media venues, CNN, Fox, whatever. But you'll notice that they're always cropped real tight. They're always cut real tight. So if they make a joke about a politician saying something, basically the video clip they show is the beginning of the politician saying the sentence all the way up until the politician stops the sentence, and that's it. So a lot of their clips are like short, right? 10 seconds, 15 seconds. A lot of times if you see a 30-second clip on a Daily Show, it's abnormal. And the reason is because when you use clips of content, you want to use the least amount, right? So if you get fair use of somebody else's copyrighted material, it's fair if you get to use the amount required in order to prove your point. Anything more than that, it starts to get gratuitous. So like Nostalgia Critic, right? So Nostalgia Critic is losing his mind. So Channel Awesome, losing his mind. over fair use. Where's the fair use? Where's the fair use? Where's the fair use? And again, fair enough. I walk into this not having much opinion. Basically, my opinion walking into this is that Nostalgia Critic has been wronged. And that I'm trying to watch this to get a better idea of how fair use pertains to him so that I can talk about it more. But then I go there, and I go to Channel Awesome, and I'm watching this stuff, and I swear to you, these are 25 to 30-minute videos, chock-a-block full, I can't tell you the exact percentage, basically of movies, of full-fledged movies. I was watching Event Horizon, I was watching Lost in Space, I was watching all of these. And basic on Spawn, actually. Do you guys remember Spawn? Oh, that was a horrible movie. I actually remember watching Spawn at a theater. But anyways, and even Spawn. But the thing is, it's usually like 25 to 30-minute videos. And a huge portion of them is the actual video content out of the movie. It's just a huge portion, right? So he adds in commentary, right? He adds in a little parody or whatever. But a massive portion is the actual parts of the movie. And then I go and I look. And so like I looked at Spawn, right? So I think Spawn was like a 30-minute video. 25, 30-minute video. I think it's right around a 30-minute video. And then I go look at the IMDb database, the movie database, and it comes out that the movie is 30 minutes long, or 129 minutes long, right? Or no, an hour, I'm sorry, I think it's an hour and a half long. It's an hour and a half long. So basically, his critique whatever video is literally a third the length of the entire movie, and a huge chunk of his critique video is actually using content directly out of the movie. Not only that, but he doesn't just do a review of the movie, he basically rips through the entire storyline. So if you watch his content, you watch 30 minutes of being told what the story is with some of the best clips out of the movie. How is this fair use? How is this, like, I mean, if whoever created Spawn wanted to license him or pay him to do that, that's fine. But otherwise, I mean, basically, he's just giving you a chopped down version of the movie so that you don't have to watch it yourself, which I do have to admit with Spawn is probably a good thing for humanity. But if you go through and you look at Event Horizon, if you look at all these things, they go through the entire movie, they chop it up, and again, it's not simple criticism. Now, the thing is, you know, talking about fair use and Nostalgia Critic, what the YouTube content creators are going to say, all these people that believe in hashtag WTFU is, but Eli, believe that, Siskel and Ebert, right? Siskel and Ebert. So if you're young, you may not remember Siskel and Ebert. Siskel and Ebert, oh, I loved them when I was a kid, because they were the only ones that did movie reviews, and they would show you previews. And so basically Siskel and Ebert would show clips of movies and do reviews. Now here's the thing. Through the power of internet, I was able to go back and actually take a look at a couple of Siskel and Ebert TV shows. And here's the thing. They were 21 minutes long, and they generally showed 4 or more videos, critiqued 4 or more videos during that 21 minutes. So people are using Siskel and Ebert as the argument for why Nostalgia Critic should be able to do what he does. But on the other hand, he spends more time in total talking about one single video than they did, right? So they talked about a video for 4 or 5 minutes with very specific clips, did not give away the entire storyline. He basically walks through the entire storyline using all the video, all the graphics that he wants out of the video, and then is trying to claim fair use. And that's a whole bunch of crap. That's just fucking stupid. I just looked at that, and it's just dumb. It is just stupid. He should be sued. Point blank, he should be sued, all right? And then, so I'm going through. And so another person was complaining with this whole hashtag WTFU was I hate everything. I hate everything. I actually like I hate everything. I hate everything's a good channel. Again, he's gotten some copyright strikes. You can watch his videos on it. They seem pretty bad. They seem like a bad copyright strikes. But then I go to watch his videos. And then one of the things that I'm noticing with his videos is he seems to like to use Aquaman. Do you know Aquaman? Yeah, he's one of those like sucky superheroes. He's a DC superhero, king of the fishies, right? Again, but although he's a really sucky superhero, DC is going to be making a new Aquaman movie shortly. And so Aquaman is intellectual property of DC Comics, or whoever the hell owns DC Comics. And so when you go to look at I Hate Everything's videos, one, you notice that he makes free use of Aquaman, or what seems to be Aquaman. in like his front title thing. And then in the videos themselves, he actually uses Aquaman as a character every once in a while. Now the thing is, Aquaman is not being used as a parody. It's not a parody of Aquaman. This is not a news report on Aquaman. I Hate Everything is simply using Aquaman as a character, which basically means he is using somebody else's intellectual property. And if he doesn't have a license for it, I will say if here just in case, but if he doesn't have a license for it, that means he's completely and utterly violating copyright, right? That is DC's copyrighted material. Not only that, with I Hate Everything, he has this other little character that flies around. I think it's a G.I. Joe character. I'm not really sure. It's like one of those characters from the 80s. But again, the question is, that little character that goes around, is that something that he has licensed from somewhere? And if you take a look at it, I would bet, I'm not saying he hasn't, so I don't want to get into any libel issues here, but I would bet you he hasn't paid any money or he hasn't actually licensed that. So again, basically it's going into that whole deal of using other people's content willy-nilly, freely, and then claiming it as fair use. Then you go on and you see videos that are entire compilations of other people's content. So I had some wrestling person, somebody did a wrestling channel that got a strike. They're like, Eli, I need your help. And then I go to their channel, and it's all WWE video that they have simply spliced in different ways. That's not fair use, right? And then you go to a lot of the kind of like the talk showy people that are complaining about WTFU. And again, they're using so much of other people's content. Again, I went to watch a Drunken Peasants video about me. And one of the things I was surprised about when they're all this thing with WTFU is if you go to and watch their video, so much of their video is other people's content. And again, it's not closely cropped edits of the video so that they can make the point. It's just them rolling the video. Like the video they did of me when they roasted me or whatever. It was like 3.5 minutes, 3 minutes, 44 seconds, basically for them to call me a fart bubble. Which I actually don't mind because, hey, it's advertising for me. But from a copyright standpoint, that seems rather gratuitous to me. Again, why do you need 3 minutes and 44 seconds in order to call me a fart bubble? I'm sure with all the video content out there, you can prove I'm a fart bubble in far less than that. I bet you I have some quotes that'll prove I'm a fart bubble in all of about 5 seconds, right? But again, they're like, we're doing commentary, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing the other thing. But they're not really paying attention to the whole idea of fair use to make sure that what they're doing is, again, A-okay, that anybody who looks at that would think, yep, that's fair use. Again, like I say, if you look at The Daily Show, if you're thinking about fair use, and you look at The Daily Show, and you look at the clips that they use, it's really hard to argue that they're not doing fair use. They're doing commentary, they're doing parody, they're doing news, they do really close cropped videos. They do really close cropped, so nothing else is in there that doesn't need to be in there. That's a beautiful thing. Compare that to a lot of these YouTubers, where instead, they'll show, again, 4 or 5 more minutes of a video and just talking over it. And that doesn't make a lot of sense. And so what I figured is, looking at this whole fair use thing on YouTube, is that this whole fair use system is screwed. I actually had a slide in the slide deck I was going to use for a video that I'm now not going to use because I'm just going to delete it, where it was hashtag WTFU. You can't handle the fair use, and that was really going to be the slide, because if you look at so much of this YouTube, the reality is people are complaining about fair use, but they do not want fair use implemented. I am telling some of you guys this. A lot of these people are bitching and whining and moaning about YouTube's fair use system, and you don't want fair use implemented. Because if real fair use was implemented, there'd be a lot of really big channels disappearing overnight. Because you can't tell me most of these channels that are using so much copyrighted material wouldn't be crap canned in about 3 hours if they actually had to go in front of a court and prove that what they were doing is fair use. It just doesn't make any sense at all. Like when you look at this, and then I was looking into it more, looking at the whole DMCA thing, Digital Millennium Copyright Act, and one of the things that really hit me about that too is everybody complains about YouTube using the DMCA. Oh, these are bad takedowns or whatever. Well, what nobody really talks about is that DMCA protects the platform. It protects the platform. So basically, YouTube can't be sued. One of the interesting things is nobody's talking about content creators not getting sued. So again, you think about that with I Hate Everything. If I Hate Everything is genuinely using Aquaman in a non-licensed way, does not have the rights to use Aquaman, he is in legal liability for doing that. DC Comics, or whoever the hell owns Aquaman, could reasonably sue him, at very least cease and desist, which would really rip down his videos, and most could try to go for economic damages of whatever amount. Again, when you got a lot of lawyers, you kind of get to pick what economic amount you say, right? And so that's one of the things that a lot of these folks aren't thinking about is, with I Hate Everything or with Nostalgia Critic or any of these, they're all looking at YouTube, complaining about YouTube's DMCA policy. What they're not realizing is that we are not getting officially sued yet. And what makes why this is curious now is because I went to look at I Hate Everything stats, and I Hate Everything, by Social Blade stats, he makes somewhere between $45,000 to $889,000 a year off of his stuff. Now that's probably wrong. That's probably skewed. But here's the thing, right? The reason that all these companies were going to sue YouTube is the idea was that creators were starving and don't have any money. YouTube is the one with money. Well, if you've got a creative lawyer who actually starts doing some research and then goes and looks at something in Social Blade and even thinks whether or not I Hate Everything actually makes it, even thinks that these content creators are actually making $1 million a year, guess what? When you're making $1 million a year, you are one big-ass juicy target. You are one big-ass juicy target. And so all these people complaining about how YouTube is dealing with the DMCA and completely basically ignoring so much of these copyright laws and rules are... It's just a matter of time until they start getting sued, right? When major companies start making bad decisions to sue these folks, that can get bad really quick. So I was looking at all this, and what I realized once I got done, and I was doing my little slide deck and I was doing my research, is that if I do a video about this on YouTube, on my main channel, I am just going to get crucified by everybody. Everybody is going to end up hating me for basically bringing out a rather sensical point, right? When you look at it, there is no if, ands, or buts about this. People are violating copyright left and right. The average person, if you went in front of a jury, I do not believe would side with these jackasses ever. And so basically there's a huge issue, but nobody wants to hear that. 1,400, however many people, they want to hear how everything is wonderful and that fair use basically means you can do whatever the hell you want with your content. And so one of the things for you guys to be thinking about is, again, what arguments, what fights do you want to get into? What fights, who do you actually have a truck with? So with me doing all this research and everything, what I've looked at is I don't really want to get into this whole drama alert thing. So YouTube is really, I don't know what it is. In the last 6 months, it seems like YouTube has become a very drama-ish place. And so if I do this content, even if I do the content the way that I do content, all it's going to do is add to the drama. I don't believe it's going to give me any more money, very much more money. I don't believe it's going to give me good subscribers. Again, when you look at metrics and all that kind of stuff, and you're like, well, it might give you subscribers. But I don't think it's going to be the subscribers that I keep, right? So on my main channel, again, I just uploaded a video on MIMO wireless introduction. So if people come to my channel and they subscribe because I'm talking about fair use, are they actually going to watch videos on MIMO? Right? And so basically what I'm looking at is if I do these videos about how fair use in the real world and the tidal wave of standard business practice that is in fact coming, what's it really going to do for me? It's going to get me a lot of hate. It's going to get me a lot of people pissed off at me. It's not actually going to make me very much money because, again, that kind of content doesn't make me that much money. Again, when I talk about MIMO, Intel wants to put ads on MIMO. When I talk about fucking fair use, nobody cares. Again, my sponsors don't go on those videos. Intel doesn't pay much money for those videos, right? So I don't make much money. Then the subscribers I get, again, that's something to think about. Just because you get a burst doesn't mean you keep them. If I get 50,000 subscribers for talking about fair use, and then they see that most of my content is, QoS and everything else, they're not going to stick around. So basically what I've decided is this battle just isn't worth it for me. And again, in business sometimes, that is what you've got to think about. If I create a video, it takes me just as long to create a video about fair use as it does about anything else. 802.11 AC or, whatever the hell, right? And so the way I look at it is if I do a video on 802.11 AC, that's going to make my subscribers happy. New viewers that see that, if they subscribe to my channel, they're going to be the right kind of subscribers. That's the kind of content I can put sponsors on, and that's the kind of content, again, the major manufacturers or whatever pay good money to put ads on, and so it wins all the way around. So do I want to waste money getting in the middle of an argument that probably would save these people, or am I just going to take my toys and go back to what I was doing? And me, Eli the computer guy, Eli the man, I'm just going to take my toys and go back to what I was doing. And so that's one of those things you have to think about in life, right? I did a video before, 100% right and 100% fired at the same time. And that's the issue that you run into. Like, everybody wants to be right. Everybody wants to fight for all these things. And then you have to think about, does it really matter? Does it get me what I actually want? Do I acquire my goals by doing this? Or whatever numbers I get, are they kind of meaningless? Again, like I say, if I gain 50,000 subscribers from doing controversial videos, they're not going to stick around. It may give me a nice boost for a little bit of time, but they're not going to stick around to listen about server rooms and QoS and bandwidth throttling and all that kind of stuff. So is it even really worthwhile at the end of the day? One of those things to be thinking about. And this is important, like I say, like in things like the office environment, right? Everybody likes to get into arguments. Everybody likes to get into fights. We need to support, or we need to fight for. And the thing is, all I would say is for some of you people is just to think about it. What are you actually going to gain if you win that fight? Okay, so you're going to go out there and you see her wrong. But is that what's most important to you? Is that actually what's useful to you? Is that what's vital to you? Or are you just, getting into a mess where, I say the benefits aren't really good anyway, right? Like I say with this, what happens? I just piss people off, right? But anyways, again, like I say, just trying to give you guys some of the practical things in life. I know some people be all horrified. Oh, Eli, being pragmatic. Of course you've got to fight the good fight. Of course, Eli. Where would we be if we didn't fight the good fight? And again, it's not necessarily not fighting a good fight, but you want to fight that particular battle. I would rather create more videos that actually teach people how to make money and get ahead in life versus videos that get me in the middle of, drama. Right? Something to think about. Drama is fun. That's one of the problems. Again, like I say, with business and being a consultant and all that, drama is fun. Do not get me wrong. Drama is fun. But drama don't pay the bills. So many people get lost in that. Drama's so fun and drama's so exciting. And they're like, oh, this is great. But drama don't pay the bills. Drama don't buy the baby formula. Work does. The grind. Day in, day out, doing what gets you paid. And then once you're paid, you can figure out what's important to you, I guess. But anyways, with that, we'll call it a day. Tomorrow is the spinning class, so we'll see how that goes. An hour of spinning. And again, you can't laugh at spinning. You cannot laugh at spinning until you've done spinning. But it should be good cardio. If nothing else for me, it'll be very, very, very good cardio. And the cool thing I do have to say is when you exercise like in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, then the rest of the day is like completely open. It's like, wow, it's a completely open day. I can do whatever else I want. But anyways, with that, we'll call it a day. Talk to you guys tomorrow and the next time I do one of these vids.